All right, everyone, let's draw our pumpkin picture. We're going to draw a pumpkin patch today using only secondary colors. That's purple, green, and orange. First, I want you to grab your white piece of paper. Make sure it is horizontal. That means left to right and long, not vertical and tall, but long and horizontal. Grab a pencil or a black marker, or even a black oil pastel would be fine. And since this is a pumpkin patch, we're going to start by drawing our ground line. Remember from last time, your ground line is a line from left to right, nice and straight towards the end of your paper, the bottom. Now, next, we're going to draw some pumpkins in our pumpkin patch. So I'm going to draw a big pumpkin right here in the middle of the ground line. So you can pick any spot, though. And here's how I draw pumpkins. I start with a straight line, a little straight line. And then around the straight line, I start to make some curved lines on left and right. And I repeat this over and over, left and right. And one more time, left and right, until I have a big circle. Now, these little lines here, these are the curves of the pumpkin. The pumpkin has kind of like a bumpy texture on it. So you can add more of these curves to make your pumpkin bigger if you'd like, or you can keep it how it looks. I'm going to add a little stem on top. A little stem on top, a little rectangle. And I'm going to add some vines. Pumpkins are really special because they have these curvy vines. That's how they grow from the ground. So you can make a curvy, twirly line coming from the stem. All right, that looks great. Let's make a few more. Since this is a pumpkin patch, there should be tons of pumpkins. So choose anywhere, either on your ground line or below your ground line, to draw a few more pumpkins. I'm going to try and draw at least 3 or 4 pumpkins. So maybe my next pumpkin is going to be a little bit farther away and it's going to be smaller. So maybe I'll draw it right here on top of the ground line, and I'll make this vertical line really small, and I'll make the curves around it also very small. And we know that this is going to be so small because it's farther away than this big pumpkin. All right, that looks great. I'm going to make my stem and my twirly vines. Awesome, I love it. Okay, I'm going to make a few more pumpkins. Maybe I'll make one over to this side because this area of the ground line looks kind of blank. I'll make a medium-sized pumpkin this time. Start with your straight vertical line and then make some curvy lines around it. You can make lots or just a few. Then my stem and my twisty-turny vines. All right, that looks great. I think I'll make one more. I'm going to make a giant pumpkin right here. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so huge. Start with your vertical line, and then your curved lines around. Wow, that's a really awesome pumpkin. Okay, I have a little bit of space here. I can make my stem and my twisty curly vines. Awesome, I love it. Okay, now this pumpkin patch is awesome, but let's add more to it. So far, it just has the pumpkins in the ground line. What else do we think might be in a pumpkin patch? Maybe some trees. Since this is fall, a fall time picture, there might be some trees that have their leaves falling down. So I'm going to start with my tree trunk on my ground line. And I just made 2 vertical lines going up. And notice how they're the same length. Now, once I've made those 2 lines, I am going to make 2 diagonal lines coming from those 2 vertical lines. You'll notice this starts to look like the letter Y. Now I'm going to make 2 more diagonal lines. They're going to be the same direction as the ones I just made. Now that's really looking like a big letter Y. Here's how I know how to draw trees. I say this little rhyme in my head. I say, Y's and V's help me make trees, because tree branches look like little Y's and little letter V's. All right, I'm going to extend this and this diagonal line out to the edge of my paper, and this one as well. This is a really big tree. And then I'll just add some branches on the side. So I'm going to do the same thing, diagonal line, repeat, diagonal line, diagonal line, repeat, diagonal line. And these can go off your paper too. It kind of makes the tree look really big when you put your lines off your paper, as if there's more branches coming off of the tree, off the paper. All right, that looks pretty good. You can add more branches if you want. Trees can be as big as you want them to be. All right, what else should we add to this pumpkin patch picture? Let's see, maybe there are some things in the background right here behind the tree and the pumpkins. Maybe since this is kind of like a fall time, maybe it's going to be a spooky picture. So maybe I'll draw the moon, a full moon shining in the sky. And maybe I'll draw something else kind of spooky. Reminds me of Halloween time. Maybe I'll draw a little bat flying by the moon. Bats have these funny wings. Kind of looks like a bird, but it's a little bit different. All right, what else can we draw? Maybe in the background there can be some hills in the pumpkin patch. Maybe there's some more pumpkins back here. Maybe you can draw some really teeny tiny pumpkins back here in the pumpkin patch. All right, let's see what else we can draw in this picture. I finished my other pumpkin patch picture. Let's see what I drew. Oh, I drew a little fence over here because this is supposed to be a little farm pumpkin patch. So you can draw that on one of your hills. I drew a little barn on the top here and a little scarecrow. So you can choose some other details that you want to add. And I even drew some funny faces on my pumpkins. You can make this more of like a Halloween type picture if you want to give them some funny jack-o'-lantern faces. Okay, so you can add whatever other details you want. I'm going to keep mine like this so far. And let's talk about adding color now. So since this is a secondary color picture, we have to only use purples, greens, and oranges for this picture. So I'm going to start with my pumpkins. Use your coloring supplies to start to color in your pumpkins. All right, friends, I almost finished all my pumpkins here, and I'm coloring them mostly orange because orange is a secondary color. But did you know the two primary colors, red and yellow, actually make orange? You should have learned that from the videos that you watched today and last week. So if you want to take some of your oil pastel colors and you want to take a little bit of red and a little bit of yellow, you can mix some of those colors onto your pumpkins by putting down a little bit of red and then taking your oil pastels and taking a little bit of yellow and blending them together. And when you blend red and yellow together, it actually is going to make a nice orangey color. And oil pastels are really great for blending. They mix really well together. So if you want to try this to blend, that means mix your oil pastels together using the primary colors red and yellow to make orange, you can do that as well. Or you can just use your orange oil pastel. I kind of like how it has a little bit of red and yellow in it. Makes it look even more realistic, like a real pumpkin. Okay, I finished all my pumpkins orange. Now let's color in the grass. I'm going to use this other secondary color, green, to color in all the grassy areas of my pumpkin patch. Now here's something that you can do. I love using different shades of green. That means different types of greens, light greens and dark greens in my picture. So if you want, if you have many different types of green in your coloring supplies, light green and dark green, you can use light green and dark green for different parts of the grass. Like maybe the grass down here is a little bit darker in my pumpkin patch than the grass above. You can do that if you want to add some different types of green variety to this pumpkin patch. I love how that looks. All right, what about our vines on our pumpkins? Those are supposed to be green as well. I think I will take my light green and I'm going to go over my pencil lines or my marker lines and make these vines a little bit more of a light green color to make them stand out against that dark green grass. You can do this as well, or you don't have to. If you want to just keep your vines a nice black line, you can keep them like that. All right, what else do we need to do? We need to color the sky. Now, friends, since this is kind of a nighttime picture, we are going to color the sky, the last secondary color, which is purple. So find your purple oil pastel or your purple coloring supply. And let's give this nighttime sky a nice purple color. Ooh, I love that. It looks like a nice dark night sky during the fall time. Nice. All right, let's make our moon an orangey color, since that is our secondary color, orange. You can even add a little bit of yellow to it if you want, to give it a little bit more of a shiny glow. And then I'm going to color my bat black. And the stems and the tree is blank right now, so let's find brown. Did you know that brown is actually just a dark version of orange? Look at my orange here. If I took my orange and I pulled it all the way down towards black, and I mixed the black and the orange together, it's going to make a nice brown for me. So technically brown is a secondary color. It's just a light version of, or a dark version of orange. So you can color in your tree brown. And the stems of your pumpkins can be brown too. All right, I finished my picture. This looks great. Now again, boys and girls, you can add whatever other details you want to this picture. Like you could add some funny jack-o'-lantern faces to your pumpkins if you want. You can add a little scarecrow or a barn in your pumpkin patch farm if you'd like. You can add a little fence here like I did in my last picture to show that this is a pumpkin patch farm. All right. So I'm going to let you guys add some more details that you like to your pumpkin patch picture. I cannot wait to see all of your wonderful details. Oh, and look, I even added some leaves to this picture. I forgot to show you. Since this is fall time, I added some little tiny leaves on the tree, green leaves, but also some orange leaves. And they're falling down here in this big pile. Someone's going to have to rake them up. All right, friends, finish your pumpkin patch picture. I cannot wait to see it.